Hello, Angela. Thank you for joining us as we have a conversation today about Arab American Heritage Month celebration and learning from you and celebrating with you. My name is Adesua Igunewaka. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as the Director for Career Equity and Access and the Career Center. And I'm here with my colleague, Krupa.
Hi Angela, my name is Krupa Selani and I'm working here as a graduate fellow at the Career Center and I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So without further ado, we want to hear about you since this is about you and being a fearless leader here on campus. So if you could please tell us a little bit about you and how you identify.
Of course. Thank you, Ade. Hello, my name is Angela Jazzar. I am a senior here at Suffolk, graduating in May with a finance degree and a business law and ethics minor. I am originally from Lebanon, but I spent 16 years in Saudi Arabia while spending the summers out in Lebanon. I identify with she, her pronouns, and then I moved to the country in 2016 at the age of 16 and a half. All the way near Providence, Rhode Island, a little town called Seekonk, Mass. And yeah, I've been at Suffolk since 2019.
Right. So what does Arab American Heritage Month mean to you?
Lovely first question. So obviously being an Arab identifying female specifically, it means a lot for this month to celebrate my culture and everything in that, whether it's, breaking up the Middle East in areas, whether it's the Gulf, going anywhere from Saudi Arabia to Kuwait, or you have my side of the world, which is like more like Jordan, Lebanon, Syria. And then you have the countries that are also identified as North Africa, in part of the Middle East. So the Heritage Month itself is just a wonderful opportunity for all the culture and the diverse kind of traditions to really outshine and play a role in our communities, whether it's a workforce, a classroom, a festival, or an event. It's just a beautiful time to celebrate and recognize both the similarities and the differences, and just to educate people because, every culture is beautiful in its own way. So having this month to highlight the Arabs, of course, like myself, is something that I always appreciate and look forward to, just because the spike of events and speakers and people that I can relate to, as well as my peers of my culture.
Thank you for sharing that. And being a student leader here at Suffolk University and knowing all the amazing things that you've done, working with us in the Career Center, how do you celebrate your identity? And how does it carry any significance for you with other students, with faculty, with staff?
Of course. This question is like near and dear to my heart, just because obviously moving to the country at the age of 16, most of my upbringing and the way I was raised was very oriented to who I am, being obviously Lebanese descent and just living in Saudi Arabia. But it really shaped me as a leader in terms of respect, being a very good active listener and communicator, because at the end of the day, I realized everyone comes from different walks of life. And there's just a lot to take in, a lot to learn, but also a lot to give back. And that really has truly been a major reason of why I came to Suffolk, knowing that the diverse population here, from staff to students, even faculty, would really support me and engage with me in ways that I was shaped and I was brought up to really kind of create a welcoming environment, but also most importantly, be surrounded by people of such inclusive and heartwarming, welcoming types of, walks of life. So being here again, it supported me in every possible way. English is my second language. So anywhere from jobs on campus, like serving as a career ambassador within the Career Center, to my role as both Student Government Association treasurer and president. It's just been such a growthful experience, having been able to be better at public speaking, walking into any door and feeling a sense of like welcoming. I have even little experiences that I love sharing where students will actually greet me in the words of marhaba, which is hello, in Arabic, and they're not Arab, but they just welcome me in and embrace my own culture. as well as like literally anything from sharing the foods with me down the street at Black Seed. Most of my non-Arab identifying friends go there more than I even get there, or cater their events with my type of culture's food. And that's like something I forever am grateful for. And as well as, just all my mentors and like my bosses, they have always welcomed me in, always enjoyed the time of like sharing Mediterranean food or dance or music, and always just, been a part of my experience in the most positive way. And that's really shaped me to really like be who I am and true to myself, and not really kind of forget my roots, because I know that at the end of the day, like the people in my life that have supported me are so much embraceful of the culture, whether it's the language or just wanting to learn about it, or the food and wanting to try new foods, or just dances that they've never seen before that they'll get in line with me and actually dance to, not knowing any of the words. So overall, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience for sure.
Right. So, as a woman of Arab heritage, can you speak of any challenges you have faced to your identity, and how did you navigate those challenges?
Course. So another wonderful question, just because of I mentioned this a couple of times now, but growing up in Saudi Arabia specifically, was not a country that was very welcome and open to one, women's success, but also just any type of opportunity. So growing up, I was very sheltered from class to home, not doing any sports, not doing any involvement or leadership. So it did shape me in both a positive and a negative way, right? I felt like I was kind of like taken away from opportunities. But the positive spin was coming to the United States and knowing that I can at least have the opportunities to pursue. And though some of them were challenging to navigate, just being in different workspaces and places, I never knew if I felt welcomed, if my kind of identity would inhibit me from even getting an opportunity. I was very sheltered and shielded in terms of not knowing where people stood and accepting me as a female, but also the negative connotations that some people still do have with anyone of the Arab culture, post just tragic experiences in the country. So I was definitely more sheltered in that sense of like not knowing what to pursue or if I would be welcomed. I also like always had that like second like notion that I would be judged for things I said or the ways I said it because of my accent, and just like learning the language at a much older age. Some do argue, where is that accent? And I both am humbled, but also I'm like, it's still there. So it's definitely shaped me in both a positive way as well. Just like being able to grow, and know like I do deserve to be here. I do deserve to work as hard and go up a corporate ladder, let's say, as a finance major, or continue my path, hopefully, as an attorney and fight for people that want to be in places that I am today. So to answer your question briefly, like it's definitely been a growthful, I want to say, opportunity. Though it does come with a lot of reservations of like where I am, what I am, and like what I want to do. But that definitely is not the case at Suffolk, and I'm forever grateful for that, because like I said, I am where I am today because of the 4 years here. And I hope I continue the attitude and the wonderful welcoming experience I've had here in every other space. So I'm very hopeful, very hopeful.
Awesome. So my next question is about wanting to hear from you a success story that you would like to share, whether that's in terms of your academics or in terms of your career. So those of us who know you do a lot on campus. So this might be an opportunity to share with other folks. So tell us a success story that has influenced you so far.
Okay. Definitely a harder question, just because, like you said, I am involved, but because I love this community and giving back to this community. So I'd say if I had to pick one success story, and I do fall back on this a lot in terms of my 2-term presidency within the Student Government Association, why it was, or I see it as a success story, not because of the title, not because of the position or the workload, more of the idea that it was the first time that I had put myself out there as I am, who I am, what I'm about. You know, I had 2 years under my belt of this community, but I also had a lot of places to grow. It was my speaking, my ability to feel confident and self-confident in my identity, things that I got kind of stripped away of my sophomore year of college being all virtual. It brought back reservations that I didn't know I had because of just not being social and in the areas I wanted to be growing. So coming in junior year, I was full swing, ready to take something on that was very new and very foreign to me. One, a female in power, to someone that did not grow up here and had the, the setbacks and the challenges, but also just, just participating and bringing culture to this role. I was happy to bring all that and tie it in with the fact that this is the community I love and want to be a part of, but also the things I would want to bring to the table. And at that time, I did have an opponent, and I was, very like reserved. It was someone, of this culture and that has kind of lived, breathed, born, raised everything. And I was like, back to that reservation, like, oh my goodness, am I going to be good enough? And it brought back those ideas that shaped my upbringing in Saudi Arabia. Nonetheless, that was instantly reversed the minute my name went out there as a candidate. I saw things from cultures that I am a part of as an Arab American, and support systems that I never knew I had just come out and be like, this is what we want. This is what we know she would bring to the table. And it was just a success story because of the fact that I knew this is my village, and growing up in two villages, both in northern side of Lebanon and a little community in Saudi Arabia, that was my village in terms of keeping me to my roots. I knew that this was my village for the last 2 years of my experience. And it helped me become the first Arab Christian president, which for some, a lot associate Christianity not with Arabs. So it was also kind of an educational experience for a lot of people that assume of another religion to be like, oh, okay, like that's good to know. Just another part and piece to the Arab community and the history of having all religions and being so accepting to every single orientation, identity, and ethnicity. So it was just an amazing experience. And I talk about it highly because I would have never done this in any other university, in any other community. Suffolk alone just embraced me for who I am, and everything I brought, whether it was the food or the music or anything that I was like, hey guys, this is like a meme I want you to enjoy with me. And you might not understand one word of it, but I know you'll laugh with me because it's pretty funny. And they continued that with the past 2 years, and I could not be more grateful for that, my mentors and my bosses for embracing me and allowing me to succeed to the point where I'm graduating, and could have not had a better experience for sure.
Well, it's all been a pleasure.
Sorry.
It's always amazing to hear success stories of people, and yours one was also a great one. And to add on to that, would you like to share with us about the role that mentors, sponsors have played in your academic and career journey?
Yeah, of course. So I have a couple mentors, so it's a little hard to pinpoint really one. So I obviously would take the opportunity to just like loop in all my direct bosses. One obviously being Ade, Dave DeAngelis, Associate Dean of Students, Casey Mulcair, Director of Student Leadership and Involvement Office, and so many more under the Student Affairs umbrella that I could never thank enough. But in terms of like mentorship, there's a lot to say. Going back to the point where I just did not feel like I was good enough or brought the right tools and the right skills to anything I applied to, these people alone just really pushed me to limits I never knew I had, and capability of like surpassing. I lost my dad, and I only bring this up to tie into a story of where I am today and how these mentors alone shaped me to keep kind of pushing through. Was sophomore year, like during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I was actually running for treasurer of the association, the student government, and I was very much like, at a point where I just did not know how much support I needed until I got it, and I was forever grateful. But they are the reasons why like I kept pushing and stayed to do what I am doing today. I won that race in candidacy against 2 opponents, and as a freshman going into sophomore year, with this election to serve, I was definitely like taken back because like they gave me everything from advice to skill to just tools I didn't know I needed. And then I utilize every single day up until now, as almost, May coming around the corner. And those mentors really just, if they played a role in terms of exposing me to unfamiliar situations, things that was just too new to me or something I was never kind of brought up around, and kind of shaped me to be successfully, ready to go with a toolkit and a mindset that was forever positive and just full of, experiences to come. And with their support, I was able to win races like the ones in student government, intern for Governor Baker, and continue my experiences outside of the civic community. So with that being said, those mentors are the reason why I'm here today. And any mentor or any person seeking mentorship, I highly, highly encourage it, because you never know when you need help, and having that support system and someone you can fall back on and just ask for help is something that everyone should have, and just have like a right shoulder to lean on.
Absolutely. No one is an island. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, last question for you. What else would you like to share with us?
I would say I definitely touched upon a lot of things today, and being one, the Suffolk community and my village here at Suffolk, as well as my upbringing. I think the only thing I'd like to share is like the idea that one should like never give up. I mentioned this briefly to a lot of like family, peers, and friends, but every person is going to have obstacles and challenges that may be different than mine, or stories that may be way different than mine, or even a little similar. And to all those people, I just want to say to continue pushing through. I always say this story because it just ties into, again, who I am today and what I hope everyone takes away from this. And any heritage and any culture that you are so proudful to be, is to keep pushing and show who you are, and be, accepting of yourself before you want others to accept you too. But I go back to the story where the generations to come, of who I am today. So I am a first generation student, and I say that because of the sole fact that the generations to come, from my grandpa to my father to me, were all different stories, but within the same family. One walked to 10 miles to work. The other, my father drove across the Middle East to Saudi Arabia, no planes or anything, to settle in for a better future, and then pushed me today to also continue that path. And I can only tell everyone else this story just because of saying that you never give up, and remember the roots and the generations before you did things that one could even seem unimaginable or impossible, but they did it for who we are and what we are today. So never give up, and always show your heritage and embrace your culture, but also, encourage everyone else. You never know what you may learn, or you might try, or you might eat or drink or dance too, but I always encourage people to do, because in life you can take away everything, but you can't take like who you are away, and the culture you also bring to the table. So keep it up, embrace it, and also know that there are people that recognize it in you more than you do sometimes. So make sure you always share it, and encourage everyone to join in.
Well, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, and we thank you for your time, and thank you for working with us in the Career Center and serving as a student leader on campus. And good luck with graduation. We can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you, Ade. The pleasure's been mine. So always so good to work with you and be around you. So thanks for everything you do for us students, for sure.